If you're not familiar with my video from a year ago, it's right here. Click on that, open in a new tab. Okay, great. So in that video, I said some things that a year ago I thought, hey, these pros and cons are going to be like this for several years. Well, I was wrong, and now I've got to make an update. So now, update 2022 pros and cons of living in Grants Pass. And I personally like to get the cons out of the way first. So one of the biggest cons in 2021 is still a big con in 2022, and that is there is no nightlife in Grants Pass. And in fact, in some ways, it's gotten worse. Why? Well, in 2020 and 2021, places started closing earlier. In fact, the state of Oregon had mandated closure hours for nighttime establishments. Well, this trend has continued into 2022. Why? Partially because of staffing, but partially because that's what people got used to. Also, it's worth noting that yes, 35,000 people live in Grants Pass, but during the day, Grants Pass supports maybe about 90,000 people from the supporting outlying areas like myself. But I don't live in town, so I'm not going to be hanging out very often in downtown Grants Pass. That has an impact on the nightlife. I didn't mention that in the other video, but it is really a factor. One example of this trend is the G Street Bar and Grill. Great place, wonderful sushi, you can get good variety of food from the restaurant, and they used to be open till 12 or later on a weekend with live music. G Street was a great place to go for a long time, but now they close at 10 p.m. And you know what? That's really still pushing their staff. They're great people, so go in there and take good care of them. But that's just one example. You can still find places that are open past 10 p.m. in Grants Pass, but there really isn't a lot of nightlife. Another con, still no professional sports, and now it looks like the Flying Lark may not open. What is the Flying Lark, you ask? Well, it was Travis Boersma's latest endeavor to help build and rebuild the horse racing community, especially in Southern Oregon. Flying Lark was located right next to the Grants Pass Downs and has beautiful restaurants inside and was supposed to open in the fall of 2021. It's since been completed, but the state of Oregon has said they will not allow the Flying Lark to operate the historical racing machines that were a cornerstone of their business plan. So it's finished, it's beautiful, and is not operating. It's a sad day. And in addition to that, Grants Pass Downs is also being impacted by this, as the future for the Downs really remains up in the air. Look, there's been a lot said about this issue, and wherever you fall on the spectrum, that's fine by me, but it is a loss to our community in that there was a lot of excitement around it, and it was certainly helping to rebuild the economy. Now, I know some of you may disagree. Go ahead in the comments and tell me how horse racing is bad or whatever you need to tell me, but I gotta say, losing the Flying Lark has been a big con for Grants Pass in 2022. Another con, smoke season. For instance, this week we had dry thunderstorms roll through, and there were 40 plus fires that started in Josephine County, including one about a mile and a half down the street from me here. But we must thank the ODF and the Rural Metro and Grants Pass fire departments for their quick work, and they knocked them all down at very small stages. Very thankful for that. So smoke season, is it going to come back? I'm sure it will. We had a little taste of it from the McKinney fire in Northern California when the smoke kind of started to blow up, but somehow miraculously we got some rain that helped mitigate the smoke and help the people in Northern California get that fire out. So smoke season 2022. Drug problem. It remains a problem in Grants Pass. Opiates, heroin, hard drugs. You'll hear stories about these drugs popping up and becoming a problem all the time. Fentanyl is a more of a recent issue as well. It's not just Grants Pass, but it certainly is a problem here. One area where we are making some progress from 2021, check out again this video. You can see the marijuana impact from 2021. Are the marijuana raids. They seem to be happening daily from the JMET task force that's charged with taking care of this problem, as well as the Oregon State Police. And they're finding large grows and they're literally mulching them up. Now they're starting to post footage of the living spaces and what they're doing to the crops, and they are taking out huge illegal grows in Grants Pass. They're also finding lots of processed marijuana and lots of cash, which is an interesting thing. Maybe the market just really did crash for marijuana, and so that's part of why the illegal grows are going away. And in addition to that, you add this law enforcement, and our marijuana problem doesn't seem so bad anymore. Maybe I'm wrong. Hit me up in the comments if I'm missing a piece. I'm happy to learn. Yes, there's still a drug problem, but maybe we're turning a corner on Grants Pass. Another con is the cost of rent. So the cost of everything seems to be going up these days, and the cost of rent is going right along with it. It used to be you could get a 3-bedroom house in Grants Pass to rent for $1,200 a month. Then it was $1,400 a month. Then it was $1,500. Well, now it's closer to $2,000 a month. And that's because we have a shortage. Again, we still have a surplus of renters in Grants Pass, which is an issue. Let's work on that too, everybody. Let's make Grants Pass the cheapest place to own a home in the whole state of Oregon. Let's work on that. But back to the cost of rent. It's still tricky to find a rental, which impacts household budgets and puts a constraint on living in Grants Pass. So that's definitely a con, and something that if you need to rent, you need to look at and take seriously and really look at your own budget and see what you can handle. A new con to the list in 2022 is the homeless problem. So in Grants Pass, we are currently under a court-ordered injunction that says that homeless people can camp out in the parks. What does this mean? Well, you'll see there are homeless camps. For instance, Morrison's Park right now, last time I drove by, there were 4 or 5 tents out in the park because the court has mandated and said that to kick people out of the parks or not allow them to live there, it's cruel and unusual punishment. This is now in the Circuit Court of Appeals. The city of Grants Pass is fighting against a homeless resident who brought this lawsuit forward, and we anticipate it to go to the Supreme Court of the United States. Will this be resolved soon? No, it probably won't. And unfortunately, we have not been able to come up with solutions like an urban campground because we can't get everybody on the same page, and that's okay. They had one in Medford, and now Rogue Retreat is going through some major turmoil. I will say that the city is doing a pretty darn good job, and the Grants Pass Police Department is doing a really great job of managing the challenge, because it's a challenge for everybody. I can't wait to put this on the pro column in 2023 or 2024. Grants Pass remains a beautiful area. You can't beat it. The Rogue River, the Illinois River, the Applegate Rivers all make for a beautiful environment in and surrounding Grants Pass. It's one of the reasons I call it the Shire, because you get into this little bowl and it's just gorgeous trees and mountains all around you. It's really a spectacular place to enjoy. Also, you can do so many things within a short drive from Grants Pass that are a lot of fun. For instance, Alyssa and I went down to Rogue River Ranch. It's about 2 hours from Grants Pass. You get to go up through Glendale, or you could go over Grave Creek, depending on your preference, and you get out into beautiful country, and you get into sections of BLM land, and you can drive on some gravel roads. Be prepared for that. And you can go and you can explore what it was like to be at Rogue River Ranch 100 or more years ago. It really still has that same feel today because it's protected, and it's really a great place to go. Or maybe Canyonville is your style. You want to go up to the casino and enjoy a show or have that kind of meal. There are definitely things for you to do near Grants Pass. Another pro of living in Grants Pass is the cost of living is still lower than Portland or Eugene or Salem. It's still one of the lowest in the Rogue Valley, even though the cost of everything has gone up. What do I mean by that? Well, the price of gas in Grants Pass is lower on average than the state average. And although housing is still high, utilities are still low because, well, it's the climate. What do I mean by that? Well, in the winter, we don't have to use as much heating as maybe they have to up in the north where it's colder. And yes, we still use air conditioning, but we can balance it. And we have several months throughout the year where I don't use the heating or the air conditioning because my house stays at a beautiful temperature because it's the climate. So that helps keep costs down. You can also grow things here in Grants Pass. For instance, we haven't purchased a strawberry or lettuce in months because the climate is perfect for growing a beautiful little garden. So that's definitely a big pro. It helps bring the cost of living down in Grants Pass. Then that's one of the reasons why it's lower than it is in Portland or Salem or Eugene or Medford or Jacksonville or Ashland. Another pro new to the list in 2022 are the restaurants in Grants Pass. Of course, there are the standbys like Tap Rock or Black Forest Cafe or Lulu's, long-time restaurants that have served the community with distinction for a long time. These are great places. But there's also some wonderful new places popping up in Grants Pass, like the Weekend Beer Company. It's a lot of fun to go hang out, and you can eat from different food trucks. So maybe somebody in the family wants a burger, somebody wants pizza, and somebody wants tacos. You can get all three there at the Weekend Beer Company, and you can hang out and sit under the picnic benches. In the winter time, they've been putting up tents, which are great, and they heat them, a wonderful outside environment. In the summertime, can be a little bit hot, but just go towards the early evening and enjoy the later hours of the day. It's awesome. In addition, some of the other new places in town are the House of Glory. House of Glory is right on G Street. It's a fun little shop, and it's not just ice cream. They've got desserts. They've got wonderful coffee. I love to go to get the cortadito, and the people there are amazing. This family moved from Miami, and they felt led to start this restaurant and serve the community in Grants Pass. Trust me, House of Glory is worth the stop. Another really new one that not a lot of people know about is Provisions by Lohman Block, which is on the shops at 6th and G. It's tucked away in a little alleyway among other shops and barber shops, and they've got Crepe Machine. That's right, a Crepe Machine back in Grants Pass. In addition to that, they've got wonderful coffee and espresso, as well as other prepackaged food choices and beer and wine, really unique stuff. They're doing something that nobody else is doing in Grants Pass, and they're really serving a niche. I gotta tell you, Rosemary and Liz and the whole crew there at Provisions are really great people. You're going to want to get in there before this place blows up, because once it gets really popular, you're going to have a hard time finding a place to sit. Check it out, Provisions by Lohman Block, really fun. Another pro about living in Grants Pass, well, in 2022, big client events hosted by yours truly. To all my previous clients, a big thank you. We're throwing a big shindig on September 16th. We're also going to do a pie pickup in November. We'll do another concert in the spring. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's just another great thing to do, and it's my way of saying thank you. Then thank you to all of you who have liked the videos, who have watched the videos, and subscribed to the channel. There are a lot of pros and cons about living in Grants Pass. In 2022, things are shifting a little bit. Drop me a comment down below. Tell me what I've missed, or tell me what you think some of the pros and cons are. And if you want to learn more about Grants Pass, check out this playlist right here.